maybe some people might need to ask, why is Nnamdi Kanu still being held if from several reports there is this argument that he has no case to answer, he has not done nothing wrong? Why is he still being held? And is there any window of chance for him to be freed?
You know, this case is grounded upon the proscription of IPOB and tagging it a terrorist group. So Nnamdi Kanu got caught up as the leader of IPOB. Do you understand? That's one of the charges. As a matter of fact, 2 other charges were grounded on the basis of his leadership of a proscribed organization. So when I took the case to the Enugu State High Court in 2023, the Enugu State High Court ruled that the manner of proscribing IPOB violated Section 42 of Nigerian Constitution. That is the section of the Nigerian Constitution under Chapter 4 of the Constitution that prohibited discrimination against any Nigerian on the basis of ethnicity. The court mentioned expressly that the proscription of IPOB was a directed executive discrimination against the Igbo ethnic group. And sometime in October 2022, the United Nations Special Rapporteurs, an organ of the United Nations that oversees human rights violations in foreign countries, had also reached the same conclusion. It wasn't by conjecture. They mentioned the Igbo ethnic group. They are the forerunners of what I'm about to say. And what I'm about to say is this. Let it sink in. Nnamdi Kanu is being travailed because he's Igbo. Pure and simple. If he wasn't Igbo, this case would have been over 9-8 years ago. I'm not the first one that said it. A judicial body has said it. Enugu State High Court has said it indirectly. United Nations Special Rapporteurs has said it indirectly and directly to some extent because they mentioned Nnamdi Kanu by name. So let us stop beating around the bush. And this is the reason that really helped galvanize me. As an Igbo man, I shouldn't have a trembling knee. I'm not an Igbo man with a trembling knee. So when you step on the rights of an upstanding Igbo man and it gets my attention, I'll fight for him. If I don't do it in the courts, I do it on the streets. And I fight peaceably, but I'll fight strongly and vigorously. Because it's one for all for one. If I let that one sit out, if I sit it out, one day it may be my turn. I also fight for other Nigerians, but it gotta be Igbo first before I become a Nigerian. So I cannot be in denial that all is well with Igbo man in Nigeria. And Nnamdi Kanu is the poster boy for that.
How soon are we expecting freedom for him? Any hope?
It lies with President Tinubu. I hope someday, somewhere, a journalist will ask him that question. But I'll tell you what, when I see statements issuing from the villa, not in particular from Tinubu himself, from President Tinubu himself, but from his underlings, that this matter should be resolved by the courts, it gets me thinking, is someone somewhere contriving some predetermined result from the courts? What is informing this blind confidence about the matter of Nnamdi Kanu should be resolved by the courts? It begins to sound to me like someone who stole your election, and before you open your mouth, INEC tells you, go to court. Like a mantra. You know, it's suspicious. Why wasn't Igboho's case resolved in the courts? Why wasn't the chairman of Miet Allah's case resolved by the courts? Why wasn't Showore's case resolved by the courts? So when they begin to insist that the matter of Nnamdi Kanu should be resolved by the courts, it takes me back to 1963, when they were also saying the same thing about the case of Obafemi Awolowo and Anthony Inahoro, charged with treasonable felony. And they were facing a trial in which they had the option of taking summary trial or the other, but they pushed them into summary trial and convicted them with a bat of an eyelid. It was a political trial. They were also saying it should be resolved by the courts. So his conviction was contrived. We learned later from Justice Cho that his hands were tied. So it makes you suspicious when the executive branch that is prosecuting you leaves no room for discussion other than telling you it should be resolved by the courts. Otherwise, why do we have that provision in Nigerian Constitution that the Attorney General can discontinue a criminal prosecution? Why is it difficult to apply that to an Igbo man when that very provision had been applied to non-Igbos in recent times, including by the present administration?